Andrew, thanks so much for being here, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Like, busy guy, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, you slid in my DMs. Well, Anthony Q. Farrell, you got him.
Yeah.
And if you can get him, because if you're saying I'm a busy man, that's a busy man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that guy is busy.
We got to give a shout out to Anthony then.
Yeah, man. I think in this industry, I keep tabs of like who are the dads, who are the parents, and you connect, right? But like working with him, I was like, man, you're busy. That guy's busy. Because that guy show ran 2 shows at the same time, which in our industry, to be able to show run 1 show is bonkers already. But for him to do 2 at once was something I didn't think was humanly possible. And he did it. So yeah.
It happened.
Yeah.
You did too as well at one point, I think. I was watching one of your old podcasts and
yeah, like I've done multiple shows at the same time, but it's like never, you're not show running it. Like it's different when you show up and you act in it. So I did Last One Laughing and Run the Burbs. They were like 2 weeks apart, but I was in the writer's room for Run the Burbs and we were in pre-production. But again, I show up to Last One Laughing, do my thing. I got to go to Burbs after. But yeah, like I've done the overlap. But like, yeah, it's look, you got to make it work, right?
Sure, man. For sure.
You got to make it. You got to do the thing. I'm not going to say no to something, right? You got to do it.
Totally. So we'll get right into it. Usually how we start is what's your name? How many kids you have and what do you do for a living? Obviously we kind of...
Yeah. My name is Andrew Phung. I'm an actor, comedian, improviser, host, writer. I got 2 boys who are 11 and 8, and they're born the same day. So sometimes like I gotta like remember that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're born exact same day. And people are like, "What are the odds?" I'm like, 1 in 365. That's the odds, because the first one doesn't matter. The first one could be any date. It's the second one. What are the odds there? Well, it's like 1 in 365, right? So, and at first we were like, my wife was like a bit disappointed, and I was like, yeah, but it's how cool is it now? They share this day. It's their day together. So every year on one of their birthday, we get them both together. And I think it's always going to be a reason to always be together as a family.
And save money.
Wow. It's not anymore. They got different interests.
Yeah, totally.
You know, before back in the day, you know, maybe both kids wanted to do a Chuck E. Cheese, but now it's like my older son wanted to do like a sleepover with his buddies. My younger son wanted to play dodgeball with his buddies. So yeah, that's 2 birthdays, man.
Yeah.
But it's fun. We get it all done in like 1 month.
Do you feel like they feel, I don't want to use the word cheated.
Yeah.
But do they feel like, oh, I got to share my birthday with my brother?
No, because I think that the concept of cheated is such a North American first world term.
Sure.
And I think as a dad, for me, I work really hard at making my kids see and understand the privilege and opportunities we have living in Canada. The life that I've been able to give them, I work really hard at making them understand that it's not a life that everyone lives. So the term cheated, I think they would only know it if they were told they were being cheated.
Got it.
If they some kids are blank slates, clean canvases of humans, right? So they only know what we teach them and what society teaches them. So for us, we always raised them on this idea that having birthdays together was a gift. Like it's such a rarity to have that, right? And we never treated it like it was they were being cheaped out on something. And the moment they wanted to do their own thing, it was like, cool, we're gonna do our own thing. And it was like they made that jump and it was smooth. Cool. So I hope that they are raised not thinking that they were cheated out of anything, because the truth is the idea that one of them could have a sleepover and have pizza and we can get chips and candy, and then the other one could go play dodgeball at a gym we rented, they feel like they got what they wanted.
So how much of that would you say is influenced by how you grew up and your parents?
Yeah. Well, I'm an only child, so I never felt cheated. I think I felt cheated from the fact that my parents were too busy to hang out with me.
Fair enough. I kind of actually mean more in terms of you were teaching them, you know, this was more of a privilege.
Yeah.
So how was it being raised by your parents, and did you take anything that you learned from them and pass it on to your kids, like those values?
Yeah, like so my dad, my parents are immigrants to Canada from Vietnam, but they met in Canada. And growing up, my parents had a run where money was tight. My dad was starting a business. My mom was working 2 jobs. My mom in the morning would go work at like a college's cafeteria. So she would drop me at my grandfather's house, go to work, pick me up after school, get me ready after school, and then go to work at night. My mom was working 2 jobs. And my dad would, in the gap, would come home from work and take care of me. I saw that struggle. So I saw that, I saw the trajectory in life. I saw the Canadian dream of when you put effort and time and hustle into a business, you grow it, but it's not easy. And so seeing that, I think has really helped me understand how hard money is, how hard it is to build a life, and the work you got to put in. So my job now for my kids is making them understand that. And so for me, like with my job, it's like, well, you're a big actor. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't start out that way, man. I didn't start out there. Like I doing improv shows for $5 a ticket, sometimes 9 people in the audience. So for me, I try to really include my kids in the journey. Like I bring my kids to my shows sometimes.
Cool.
They sit in the audience, so they see what dad does on like a Friday or Saturday doing improv comedy shows. I tell my kids when I don't get a role I really wanted. I share that with them. I remember the first time I didn't get a role I really wanted. My son, my older son, was maybe 4 or 5 at the time. And I told him, he's like, why are you sad, Dad? I told him, he's like, I told him there was a job I really wanted, but they didn't want me. And he's like, but I want you.
Oh,
and I was like, oh man, okay. Thank you. But I think it's like by including them in on the journey, I don't want them to see a picture perfect life. I want them to know that life has struggle,
sure,
so that they understand the struggle they go through is part of it. But I want them to be raised in a way that they know they have me and my wife and each other to lean on when they need support. So yeah, I saw that with my mom and dad. I saw the struggle. I saw how we had to always be there for each other. I saw how we're always there for each other, no matter what. And I've really carried that with my kids and my family.
I can't believe, like, I don't know what it would have felt like being an only child. Did that have any influence on you wanting to have more than one kid?
I don't think so. I know sometimes, like I've heard that sometimes children of divorce often want to build that perfect family to have what they didn't have. But for me, like I was really happy being an only child for most of it. Like I think there were things I missed out on. And I think there were times where like I wish I had a sibling. But as a whole, I was like, I understood why I didn't have a sibling. My parents for a while couldn't afford another kid, but they just were too busy trying to build the business, build their careers. So I don't think it was the plan. I always felt like 2 was a good number. 2 is like that North American, everyone wants 2 kids. We got 2 kids. It's like 3's too many. They outnumber you. 2 is a good number. So I don't think so. I would have a 3rd kid though. I would 100%, to my wife, I would 100% have a 3rd kid. But she is not cool with having a 3rd kid because like I get it.
Fair enough.
And so it's a decision we have to make together, right? But I would be on board. But I'm also cool if we don't have that 3rd kid.
And they have an age gap. It's like you guys had some rest. And,
yeah.
You know.
Well, now there's like between them, there's like a 3-year age gap, which I think is a great age gap. Yeah. I think now it would be too much of an age gap.
Totally.
Though I have a friend, he and his sister are like 2 or 3 years apart, but then their siblings are like 12 years apart.
Wow.
So they had 2 and then 2, and there's like a 12-year gap between them. And I'm like, whoa. That's
wild.
That's wild. You don't hear about that often. Like you're out of the you got 12-year-old and like a 13-year-old or something, and you're like, you know what we should do? We should just go back into the pool.
Come out of retirement.
Yeah, let's just go do it again. Right? The facts, I'm back.
Yeah.
You know? And so I was like, okay. But 2 is always a good number. We're happy with it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but I love being a dad that I would for sure, I think I would heavily lean towards having another kid. Less so now because of the time. But, to your question, it's like, I don't think being an only child made me want to have 2 kids or more kids.
Got it.
But I think definitely my process of being raised informed how I am as a parent.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Because I only have one, and that's kind of, I'm trying to build that idea of how does it feel like being an only child, and that will that have any effect on them growing up? Because I don't want to feel bad down the road. But again, some siblings don't get along anyway. So even if you had more than one, you know.
Well, that comes up a lot. Sometimes like if my kids are fighting, I'm just like, what? Why? And my wife's like, she had a sister, same age gap, and she's like, you were an only child.
Yeah.
You don't get it. Sometimes they just fight to fight. And there's no reason for it. There's nothing you could have done. Because I do that a lot. Sometimes if there's like something that happens negatively, I always ask myself, what could I have done differently? And she's like, there's nothing you could have done differently. They're going to fight no matter what. And in an hour, they're going to be best buds.
Cool.
Right? And so I was like, okay. So it's, I don't know. There's pros and cons about everything, but I always say it's like that idea of being an only child. I think as long as you're giving them the best life that you can give them, you know,
Totally.
I don't think it'll matter. And I think parents this generation, we give our kids good lives. Like we are. Parents are evolving. We're so much more emotionally connected than maybe our parents were. Definitely, like my dad. One time he was over and I was like asking my kids what they wanted for dinner, and I made them dinner. And my dad's like, you give them a choice for dinner? Son, so you give them a choice for dinner? I'm like, yeah. He's like, why? And I was like, yeah, because I want them to eat. You know, I want to know what they want to eat. He's like, it blew his mind.
Yeah.
It blew his mind that that was even a thing you could do. Give your kids a choice at dinner. Parents are evolving. You know, and I think for the good and maybe sometimes the bad. I think as parents, it's harder for us to discipline. Yeah. I don't know about you, but when I discipline, I feel guilty as hell.
Oh, totally.
I feel like the worst dad after.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not even disciplining hard because I always think in my head, I'm like, okay, I made you go to your room. I made you go to your amazing room.
All inclusive.
Yeah, all inclusive, right? Whereas for me, my mom hit me and then maybe go sit in a corner. I'm like, and like that's lighter than what she got, right? Totally. So I think we for the cons is like we struggle with discipline, but I think we are so much more emotionally in tune and more willing to have conversations of what's happening in the world. Like I remember in '92 when the Iraq War happened, I was like, what's going on? Like I found out at school and there was like a kid there. She was like really sad. And she's like, oh, they're going to war today. I'm like, what are you talking about? Right. Whereas like now when conflicts are happening in the world, like I'm talking to my kids about it. So my hope is that, you know, we could, you know, as parents evolve, we're like our iOS is leveling up and we're building more resilient kids.
Good for you.
Thank you. Just trying.
Yeah.
I'm just trying, man. I'm just trying. Like that. Someone's like, yeah, you're doing really good this summer. I'm just trying. I'm just trying not to screw up. Just trying my best. Yeah.
I hear you on that one. So take me back. Like at what point did you know you wanted to be an actor? Like just growing up, at what age did you know like this is what I want to do?
Well, I think I was always like interested in acting and performing. Like even in grade 6, like I loved like anytime I could do a class presentation or my teacher, Mr. Fisher, let me host like a late night talk show as a performance for like one of our modules, and so I was always into it. Unfortunately, cuts in education meant that we didn't have drama in grade 6, 7, 8.
Crazy.
So when I got to grade 9, and grade 9 was high school. It was high school for me. There was drama offered, and I was like really into it. So I took drama in high school. I didn't think it could be like a thing because I wasn't one of the drama geeks. Like I didn't do a play. I didn't go above and beyond. Okay. I got a job so that, you know, in your high school, you kind of have a choice. Like you either do extracurricular activities or you get a job. And I got a job because I wanted to make money and I wanted to like buy a car. I wanted to like be able to buy my own clothes, that kind of stuff. So because I didn't do drama, like a theater play, I didn't know I could go into it. And it wasn't until like I was 16, my teacher encouraged us all to join this improv theater, the Loose Moose Theater, and they offered improv classes for free if you volunteered. So when I went down there with my buddies, that's when I was like, I really want to do this. But I didn't know I wanted to do this as a job. It was always like, I want to do this as an interest.
Cool.
I want to do this as a side hustle because, you know, it's been well documented. Like we don't see Asians in comedy, especially at that time. So it wasn't until like my mid-20s that I'm like, oh, I might do this as a full-time thing. Like I went to university, I got a job. This was always my side hustle. Until my side hustle, I was like, oh, damn, I'm doing pretty good at my side hustle. I was like hosting events. I was making some money doing improv. I had booked like this TV show. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do this full time. And then that's when the trajectory in the career happened. So like it wasn't until like my late 20s that I was like, I'm going to do this. And even when I said I'm going to do it, it was an unconventional path, because for me, it wasn't acting, like going to auditions. It was doing improv shows where I produced it. So I got to make the money, hosting events, and then doing some random gigs, random jobs that were like creative at its core. And then it wasn't until like I didn't book Kim's until I was like 30. Yeah. Wow. So and that happened out of someone coming to see my improv show.
Cool.
Right. So it was like I built my career in this like unconventional way. But you know, we talk about the struggle and we talk about the grind, and I had to do that grind. I had to put in my 10,000 hours for someone to see me at my best. I had to build myself up to be the best version of myself.
What did your parents think of it?
The truth is they didn't really think much, because unconventional path. I didn't go to them and say, I'm going to be an actor, because that's a story you hear a lot.
Yeah.
And our parents are like, don't do it. They discourage you. But for me, I went to university, got a degree in economics and minored in business, got a good paying job. They didn't have to worry.
Good for you.
Right? Improv was the side hustle. So I didn't invite my mom and dad to an improv show until I was like 25. By this time, I had a voice. I knew who I was doing pretty good. I remember I invited them down to a show, and the audience was sold out. And a big chunk of the audience was like there to see me. And so when they saw that, they're like, oh, our son is doing well. They don't have to worry about the struggle. He has a job. He's doing well. I remember my mom and dad were so happy. I did an improv scene where I asked my mom and dad for suggestions. Because, you know, you go to the audience, and my mom stood up and waved to the crowd. Like, she was so happy. And my dad afterwards, like, you need to go to Hollywood. And I'm like, Dad, I don't think you know how that works. That's a big jump. So they encouraged me. And so I remember when I booked Kim's, my mom and dad were so happy. They were like, you need to move to Toronto. They were like really trying to get me to go to Toronto. They're trying to get me to move here. But I had just had a son. I didn't know if Kim's was going to take off. I wasn't going to move to Toronto for like one season of a show. I didn't know. So we didn't come out here until after season 2 when we saw the show was blowing up. But my mom and dad, because I brought them in when I was ready. I brought them in when I was ready to show them what I had become. And because of that, they became my biggest champions.
That's cool.
Right? I've shared photos of my dad with his shirt off, cheering whenever I win an award or something.
That's
right?
Cool.
Or they've been so, my mom would do this. She would walk on a plane on an Air Canada flight and be like, my son is on a show, you should put it on. And then stand there and wait for them to put on a show, a Kim's Convenience, or put on a movie I was in, and just like, it's good, right? And move to the next row. I'm like, Mom, you got to stop doing that. But I think because I brought them in a bit later in the journey, they were so supportive, which is uncommon in families of color, because oftentimes careers associated with the arts, parents try to deter us from doing it.
Totally.
Unless it's like piano,
sure.
Unless you're a piano prodigy or something. Yeah.
Were your parents living in Calgary or in Toronto when they said you got to come to Toronto?
They were living in Calgary. They still live in Calgary. They were in Calgary, but they were like, you need to go to Toronto and like live there full time. You need to do it, because they understood that Calgary wasn't going to be the place that I could blow up my career.
Got it.
I built my career in Calgary. I'm proud of my career in Calgary, but I think there is a ceiling you hit when you're in Calgary.
Okay.
So I had to come out to Toronto, and I was so glad I did, because coming to Toronto, I was able to like build my network and grow and find new opportunities.
So you're in Toronto. You're filming Kim's Convenience.
Yeah.
You have a child.
Yeah.
So how was that I don't know the dynamic. Did you have to leave?
So the first 2 seasons were really tough because my wife and my son were in Calgary, and then my second son was born. So that was tough. When I left to film season 2, my second son was 5-6 months old. So that was tough. Those first 2 seasons were always really hard because like I would always try to fly back every couple weeks, but it's tough because you don't get your schedule sometimes. And then flights in the summer, ridiculous. So like sometimes I'd be like, well, I got 2 days off. I could fly home and see my family. Oh, this flight's $1,100. Yeah, sorry, we're not going home. My wife's like, don't come. That's like way too much money. So thankfully the ADs were really good. Where like if I found a cheap flight, I would just be like, hey, if I can get these 2 days off, it would be great. And so they were really good about doing that. So, but there were 2 summers that were pretty lonely. And so after the second season, I was like, we got to move to Toronto. So it was my mission to convince my wife that Toronto was the right move. And I think she was hesitant. So we rented a place in Toronto. And after shooting season 3, she's like, I'm in. And we moved to Toronto. And it's funny now because like my wife can't imagine living back in Calgary. She loves it in Toronto. Like every time we go back to Calgary, she's like, I am so ready to go home. Toronto is home. But it was tough. Like my kids, I spent a lot of time away from my kids. And that was on Kim's where I was just the actor. And as I moved to like run the Burbs where I was the writer, executive producer, star, it's even longer gaps where I didn't see my kids. And so that was tough, So I think for me, I always said my mom and dad had to work because of the circumstances. They had to make money. Their business was growing. And I said, I'm not going to spend more time at work than seeing my family. And then I became that, and that was tough. So for me, when I'm away, I'm away. I can't change that. But when I'm home, I'm home. I'm present. I make life fun. We are in the yard. We're playing basketball. We're playing hockey. We're playing Fortnite. We're doing stuff together. We're always doing stuff. So I'm as present as I can be. But yeah, that was the balance of going, being in Calgary, coming to Toronto, but filming TV and the nature of my job.
Does it change? Does it change what shows or scripts you'll accept?
Yeah,
now?
100%. So like, if you look at my body of work, Kim's Convenience, Run the Burbs, Last One Laughing, Winona Earp, typically good-hearted characters, kind characters. But years ago, I was looking at a role, and it was like for like a crime show. Cool. And I was like, my agent, I'm like, what's the crime? And she's like, you rape someone and then you light them on fire. And I'm like, yeah, that's a hard pass.
Yeah.
Can you go back? Can I hack a mainframe? Can I rob a bank? Is that cool? You know what? I'll take a road rage accident. I'll take a murder. Give me murder with a gun. That's it. Like, I was like, totally. What's the line, right? And I was like, that's one where I can't show my kids later on.
Sure.
And I said earlier, I love including my kids on the process. Like when I do a show, a video, content, this podcast, I love showing my kids after. I love doing that because they see it. They're part of it, right? Even if there's like swears in it, I'm cool with it because like that's life, right? Sure. That one, I'm like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't show it to them. So I am pretty active in looking at the roles and figuring out like, is it for me? I also, on another level, culturally, want to make sure that I am doing roles that push forward positive depictions of Asian men. So there was a role that was offered, like, this is weird because I'm thinking it was offered in COVID. It was like that's a weird time for all of us.
5-year anniversary.
Yeah, 5-year anniversary. We blanked out on it. It was like a year after COVID, and I looked at it and I passed on it. And I was like, I think the problem is, it's not that it's a negative character. It's that all the negative characters in this script are the Vietnamese characters.
Got it. And
I'm like, that's my issue. I don't have an issue if like, obviously there's bad characters, but we have to balance it out. So I do look at I look at the project, I look at like the character, but I look at the overall presentation of it as well.
Are you half Vietnamese and half
Yeah, half Vietnamese, half Chinese. My mom is Vietnamese, my dad is Chinese, but my dad is Chinese raised in Vietnam.
Got it.
Which is there's a big Chinese population in Vietnam. And so he speaks, 2 languages and then English as well, 3 languages. So yeah, Vietnamese, Chinese. I'm more closer to my Vietnamese side because I spent more time with my mom's family growing up.
Yeah.
Though like there were moments where I spent time with my dad's side as well, but I'm more connected to my Vietnamese side. That's also the language I speak.
Got it.
So I went to school for it, and so I'm more closely connected to it. Though, like for me, as I'm saying, we're like leveling up, iOS updating. I think what I love about Toronto is like this city does like culture in a way that like is so special, right? There's like you get every food possible.
Yeah.
My friend Malik had a great comedy bit where he's like, you could find food of like ethnic groups that are extinct. And he said like, oh man, there's these two guys with a food truck. Oh, I thought they were extinct. No, there's 2 guys left. They got a food truck. And it's like, okay. So I love that about Toronto. So for me, it's like been a great opportunity to connect back to my Chinese roots, learn about Chinese culture, connect with the Chinese community, because I think the Asian community is very fluid. We're like championing one another, and so it's been really cool being in the city to like discover that.
Have your kids adopted like the Chinese and Vietnamese culture?
It's not necessarily adopted, but I take every opportunity to expose them to it. So every Lunar New Year festival,
Cool.
every like cultural event in the city, I try to attend with them. They're coming at the world in a different place because they're half Asian,
Yeah.
half white, which already is like a weird space for them because like they're balancing. Like for me, it was tough because I was balancing being Chinese, Vietnamese, living in Canada. But for them, it's like they look different. They, you know what I mean? Like that changes how they are in the world. So I want to give them a balance of knowing they're Canadian, but they also have this part of them that is Vietnamese and Chinese. So is it the food? Is it the cultural events? What do the symbols and elements mean? And what I love is Lunar New Year for me is the time. Tết in Vietnamese culture is when we give each other red envelopes, lì xì, and we eat food and come together. And I remember like 3 years ago, I really wanted to bring my kids to Tết in Calgary. That's where we celebrated, my whole family. So we flew out. And it sucks because like flying family into Calgary in the winter is like pretty pricey still. But we did it and they loved it.
That's
They
cool.
made friends with their cousins. They play Roblox together. And I remember the year after, my sons were like, are we going to Calgary? Are we going to Calgary? And I'm like, yeah, we are. So people are like, you go to Calgary every winter. And I'm like, I know. we could literally go to Mexico or somewhere warm, but we go to Calgary to go to the snow and celebrate Lunar New Year.
That's cool.
And it's like, for me, it's like, that makes me so proud. I don't think I have the ability to even make them take on all of Vietnamese and Chinese culture because I don't have those skills. Because like for me, like I'm still learning what these traditions mean. I'm still figuring out the language. But for them to have picked something up and that's part of their identity now, they love it, makes me so happy. And so it's just try to add on to it.
Can I tell you my idea? And I think this is a perfect segue.
Yeah.
I was kind of too late for the 2025 Lunar New Year, but for 2026, I want to do a limited edition Lunar New Year Daddy Day Club collaboration where we do the Daddy Day Club in Chinese. I don't know which part of which language, but I had somebody mock me up some, I think it was in Mandarin. I'm not 100% sure. And get a red, we specialize in brand packaging. So do a nice red box with the Daddy Day Club and then maybe like donate proceeds to like a charity. But for me to do that, I need like the proper partner because I'm not Chinese. So maybe that's an idea I pitched to you. We work with this great company called Made in House. They do work for the NHL Canucks.
Oh, cool.
And they do crazy
the Canucks
collaborations.
jerseys are amazing.
Yeah, man. So I'll send you their profile. But they've been doing my new collection, and I told them this is what I want to do. We were trying to find an athlete, but it's not like the era of like Yao Ming
Yeah.
is gone.
Yeah.
And there's not that many Chinese athletes who have kids.
Yeah.
So when you said like you're passionate about Lunar New Year, I'm like, man, that would be kind of cool if I pitched you that idea.
I think it's great. I loved walking into a Loblaws this season and seeing Represent Asian have a collab with Joe Fresh.
Oh, that's cool.
It was super cool to see. My friend Madeline co-designed it, co-created it, and it was super cool to see. So like I love that idea, and I love this idea of like, it's tough because like growing up for me, sometimes there were a lot of times where like I just wanted to be Canadian.
Yeah.
And it was tough. It was tough like carrying my culture with me. And it wasn't until like my early 20s where I was like really understanding that it was a place of pride. I wanted to be proud of it. But you know, when you're a teenager, a moody teenager, and it's like, oh, I want to eat white food all the time, right? Now I only want to eat Asian food. Like even like on the way here, I'm like, oh shit. On the way home, I'm gonna go up Broadview, get some banh mi, get some bao. Oh, you know what? I'll stop by the Asian grocery store there. Like for me now, it's like I've learned that it's a part of me. I've learned that deep down in my core that it's who I am, and so I've learned to make it part of my day to day. But when you're a teenager, like you don't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
And so I love now we're at a place where like my kids have it around them. They see it. We could celebrate it. I remember buying those shirts for them. Like, we're going to buy these shirts. We're going to wear them to the event. We're going to wear them on Lunar New Year, right?
Cool.
And I love being cheesy dad. I love that. But yeah, that's great, man.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
I'll pitch you the idea and we'll see if we can get some mock-ups and just pitch the idea.
Well, I remember seeing your guys' gear when Sean Desmond wore it because I think he was one of your earlier guests.
He was our #1 supporter, man.
Yeah, you got him. And you got Sean during his
comeback
Renaissance.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, so Sean and I are around the same age.
Okay.
Because when Get Ready dropped, that became the anthem of like Much Music 2000, 2001.
Banger.
Get Ready, Spread My Wings, Let's Go.
Let's Go was my jam.
So he had some hits, the Sideways, Mohawk he had going on. And then you didn't hear from him, right? And so to hear his story that he basically wanted to quit or quit music because the music industry had like turned its door on him, closed the door on him. For him to come back after, like, I remember watching that performance at the OVO show, not live, couldn't get tickets.
Yeah.
But I remember someone uploaded like a video.
I saw it.
And I'm like, holy shit, this guy's got it.
Yeah.
Then he brings out his daughter.
It's crazy.
And I'm like, oh, Sean's a dad like me. And so to see this renaissance now is so inspiring because one, you see the best version of himself. He's multitasked. He knows who he is. He's balancing everything now. But it feels like he just recognizes that this is so special now. This could go away tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when you're young, you don't feel that. But when you're an adult, you're a dad, you know that like every moment given to you is a gift, right? It's so cool to see. And one of the clips I loved was there was a show he was doing and there was like a fight in the crowd. He stopped. He's like, hey, don't do it. There's kids. And then went right back in the song. I'm like,
that's beautiful.
Well done. He went right into Portuguese dad, and then went boom, went right back into Portuguese heartthrob. But I love it. Yeah,
I love Sean. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, it's been cool seeing that. It's I love like as my career has grown, connecting with dads in the industry. Like on Run the Burbs, we got Cardinal Official on the show, and
that's
like
cool.
Having him and talking about parenting and fatherhood, and a lot of the cast on the show were also parents. So for us having those conversations on set was really nice. So like I always keep tabs of like who in my circle are like parents, right? And we try to connect that way. Like even when I did Winona Earp, connecting with Melanie Scrofano, who was a star, like we had kids, and so we would connect on that level, right? So it's really nice to be able to like go out and see my friends succeeding, but also as parents.
Totally.
Yeah.
Does Cardinal have kids?
I think he's got kids.
I never knew that.
You never knew that?
I never knew that.
He's got kids.
I got to get him on the podcast.
You got to get him on the pod.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
he's got kids, and like, he's very like private about his life, But what I love about him is we were shooting around the Burbs and we were in the suburbs and we were in this backyard. It was a pretty nice house, but like a suburb house, like an older home, but it had this really cool garage suite. He looked around, he's like, I'd live here. It's a cool place. Right. And like, you could tell at that point, I'm like, he's just a suburb guy. He's older kind of, but I remember we were we were at a party at Pi after the Canadian Screen Awards. He had been nominated for Best Guest Performer in a Comedy. And the whole show got nominations, and we were having this party at Pi, and we're standing on the street after, and across the street is like 4 nightclubs. And I said, yo, Cardi, you want to go to the club? Because in my mind, for me, I get taken back to being an 18-year-old kid. I'm hanging with Cardi. I'm like, let's go to the club, Cardi. We're all like wearing suits. We look fine as hell. And Cardi looks at me, and he's like, hell no. And he got in a car and went home. Like he was like, I don't want to touch that. I was like, okay. He's just a suburb dad. But yeah, it's cool like connecting with other dads in the industry, Anthony Q. Farrell, like and relating on that. We understand that struggle, right? Sometimes I'll post a meme about being a dad and people are like, I get it. Yeah. That was the day. That was the day we had. Yeah.
I think it's the best thing because like I'm connecting with people I would never normally connect with ever. We're like opposite ends, and something about fatherhood brings you on the same playing field with these people. So I love it. I love that it can bring people together.
Yeah. I think also for us, you know, we talk about parenting of today as being like, we're trying to level up as parents.
Yeah.
I think we recognize that to level up, we recognize this idea of like building your networks. Because right now it feels like in every industry, any industry you go to, they'll be like, you got to network, you got to build your team, right? Like success has been, like we equate success to building a network and having support. But we also have to recognize that is also the case in parenting.
Yeah.
Recognizing that to be great parents, we have to have great supports around us. So like my neighbor and I, Ed, we talk a lot about like our days as parents, but just building that support. And I don't know if it was like that back in the day for our parents, if they had parenting supports, if they could connect with others to have conversations about it. Right.
You know what's funny? I feel like they had parenting support from like neighbors.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of like that. Like we're Middle Eastern, and I could swear that, you know, if somebody had to go out, the next door neighbor will come and just watch you, or you go to their house. So it's kind of like that kind of circle.
Wow. Yeah. They'd watch us. You know, like a lot of us kids of immigrants are like raised by like grandparents or like uncles and aunts.
Totally.
They're not real uncles or aunts, right? So yeah, maybe that was the case. I guess maybe now it's a bit more spoken. Before it was a lot of just actions.
Yep.
Just I got you. But now it's like, oh, I got you, but also emotionally I got you. Like how are you? How are you? Right? Because like now we're having more conversations about mental health and like how we are and stuff. And so yeah, it makes me really happy that my children are going into a world that is more caring, more resilient, and more understanding, and that I am able to exist and parent them in a world where I know I can reach out to others.
I like that.
Because, you know, we say a lot of like, yo, if you ever need anything, just reach out. It means nothing until you actually reach out.
Sure.
It's an empty promise until you actually reach out. And I love that. I love that, like, I've been able to reach out. Like, one of my people I reach out to a lot is my Kim's Convenience co-star, Paul Sun-Young Lee. You know, his kids were my kids' age when he started doing Kim's. Like, there's a photo that I vividly remember where it's like Paul, his wife, his kids, me, and then Simu, Andrea, and Nicole. And we're all there, and his kids are like the exact age my kids were. So it happens fast. But, you know, I know that he's been in my shoes, so we do have those conversations. And now I see his kids are like older. They're in university. It's weird, right? But like I'm so relieved that I've had those friendships to be able to like lean on.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I like it because I get to like speak to people who have kids at different ages and gives you different perspective on what it's like having kids, for example, with ages of 8 and 11 and stuff like that. Question for you, you know, you mentioned that like at one point you were having issues, you know, with your culture and being in Canada and stuff. Do you feel like Jackie Chan and Rush Hour had any effect on you in terms of being an actor and seeing how he kind of broke the you know, more like intersectionality of being...
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to say that earlier. Like I was like, Asians in comedy, I didn't remember anyone except for Jackie Chan. And someone's like, well, Jackie Chan. I'm like, yeah, but if you watch any Jackie Chan movie, he's equally a comedian as he is an action hero. And I would argue that his action hero is so reluctant, because if you watch any Jackie Chan movie, he's not a Stallone, Schwarzenegger action hero like, I'm going to come save the day. His action hero is, I don't want to do this. I don't want to fight. Like, how many times in a fight does he say, I don't want to fight? I don't want to do this. Stop. No fighting, right? And so he's always trying to get out of it. He's just thrown into it, right? Like Rumble in the Bronx, he's not going in there to fight people. He's going in to defend this grocery store because it's under attack from this gang. And then a larger gang comes in and he has to fight them. So I Jackie Chan and Rush Hour, but like Jackie Chan, Super Cop, Rumble in the Bronx, Police Story, Twin Dragons, those were huge. Also because that was Saturday night with my dad.
Cool.
So my dad and I would go to Chinatown and get a Laserdisc from a Laserdisc and watch Jackie Chan movies. Like that was like my thing. We get Taco Bell too.
Oh, that's cool.
Also, it was weird. We go to Chinatown, get a Laserdisc, then go to Taco Bell near our house, and watch Jackie Chan movies. But yeah, it was a big impact because I knew it was possible, but it was rare.
That's
right?
cool.
And so he was really the only guy doing it. And now we look at Asians in comedy. There are so many doing it now, right? There's so many doing it. But yeah, Jackie Chan was the guy. And Rush Hour, on another level, just on a nerd level, Jackie Chan in like 81, 82 tried to come to America. I think he made a movie called The Protector with Danny Aiello, who I did a movie with years later.
Cool.
But he made that movie, and that movie bombed in the U.S. It was supposed to be his American film. And I'll tell you why it bombed. Because he played a cop, and it was like him like serving the streets. That's not Jackie Chan. So when he blew up with Rumble in the Bronx is the movie that brought him over. Then he got to make a Rush Hour, right? And it made me so happy because at this time it was like he was the best version of himself. He had figured out how to do it here. But also Rush Hour, that soundtrack.
Yeah.
Drew Hill.
Totally.
Like, what a bang. So it was perfect. Yeah, that movie was massive.
Michael Jackson was in it too. Can't Stop Till You Get Enough. That was a huge scene.
Rush Hour 2.
Yeah.
Rush Hour 2. Yeah. And like, you know, like I think there's rumors of a Rush Hour 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, that movie, I don't know why there hasn't been 10 Rush Hours already.
I know.
Because I'm like, that movie was so ripe for it. But I think it came out at the right time. So when you see, like, you know, when you asked earlier about like, do you consider your roles? I'm like, yeah, I consider my roles because I want positive Asian representation.
Cool.
Right? And so Jackie Chan didn't do Demolition Man, I think because of that. He didn't want to play a bad guy.
Oh, I didn't know.
He didn't want to be Wesley Snipes.
Oh, man. But that's perfect because Wesley Snipes killed it. That's
Wesley
one of my
Snipes
favorite
killed
movies.
it.
Yeah.
But Stallone had written it for or offered it to Jackie Chan.
Crazy.
And Jackie Chan didn't want to do it.
That's wild.
Right? Now, Wesley Snipes did it, killed it.
Yeah.
But Wesley Snipes, for him, I think he's been so good at playing bad guys well.
Yeah.
You know, like I think Simon Phoenix is the character's name in Demolition Man. I was like, oh, it's so cool. And I think, you know, he went into Blade after, and it's like he plays dark characters well. I think seeing Jackie Chan that way would have been jarring. Kind of like seeing John Cena turn on Cody Rhodes, like at Elimination Chamber. It's like jarring to see because it's like you're not used to it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pumped. Yeah. So I think I like Jackie Chan. I'm not on his level, nowhere near his level. He's on a different stratosphere, and I'm 10, 30 feet below. But to, you know, I that did stick with me that he did that. You know, that he actively thought about his roles. Yeah.
If you can be in any movie, like cast yourself in any movie, what would it be?
I would love to do a Star Trek film.
Oh,
I would love to do a Star Trek series, Star Trek film. I've auditioned for it so many times. I think the issue is that so I've tried to audition a few ways. I think a couple times my wife's like, it seems like you really want it and you're a nerd doing the audition. I'm like, I think it is, Like I say the lines with too much glee.
Okay.
I say them too excited, right? Like I'm not in the world. I'm just like a nerd getting to say the lines. And a couple times, I think I've had really good auditions, but I think I've been maybe too young for the role. They were looking for like a different kind of actor. And so, yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to do like a buddy, a hangover type comedy.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I love those movies.
I love those movies. We don't make them anymore. I would love to do one. And you might ask, well, Andrew, like, what think about the kids? I'm like, yeah, this is different. Yeah. It's different because I love showing my son Will Ferrell movies. I love silly, ridiculous comedy, right? That is harmless. Yeah. I like comedy that is harmless. And so I would love to do that.
Who would you co-star with if you could co-star with anybody?
Well, I love my friend Emma Hunter is a Canadian comedian. I've loved her for years. Another comedian I love performing with, Brandon Hackett, who is Second City Main Stage. He is directing the new Second City Main Stage show coming up. I love performing with him. My friend Gavin Williams, who is like my improv partner, he played a character on Kim's Convenience. He was the British man on Kim's Convenience in the store. But Gavin and I have been doing improv together since we were like in our 20s. And I love doing shows with him. I brought him to a show recently. It was like the whole night though was Asian comedians. It was very much like an Asian heritage theme show.
Cool.
I was like, Gavin, I need you to be my partner. He's like, I can't. He's like, I can't do it. I'm like, Gavin, please. It'll be fun. He's like, okay. So I go out on stage. Crowd is hyped. I'm like, hey, coming out is a hero in the Asian community. And Gavin's like, no. And I was like, he is loved by all Asians. And everybody go, Gavin. Gavin is this like little British man. And he's like, hello. Crowd loved him.
Oh, wild.
And I remember for the opening of the set, the crowd, we played a game where we were like, let's blame Gavin for things the British have done. It was a hit. And at the end of the night, as we were leaving, there's audience members, a group of women were like, you know who I loved? Gavin. And Gavin's like, oh. And I'm like, Gavin, pretty good, right? Sweet. And so I would perform with him.
Cool.
I just would perform with my friends.
That's
I would
awesome.
just do comedy. I love doing comedy with my friends. And like, even now, like my career is very much in film and television, writing, hosting.
Yep. But
I still I do improv shows like 2 or 3 times a month just to feel it, just to build those relationships, to play with people, because at the end of the day, that's what I love about the art form. What I love about comedy is like connecting with someone you don't know, finding the middle ground and making comedy together. I love being silly with people.
Do you feel like, you know how Adam Sandler always hires like his friends? Do you feel like anybody does the same thing here in Canada?
I think so. I think there's elements of it, but we wouldn't hear about it. Like, there's a web series for a long time called Nirvana, the band, the show, which became a Vice series, which is cult classic. But they just made a movie called Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. It premiered at South by Southwest this week. It's got critics' pick. It's said that it might be one of Canada's best comedies in the last many, many years.
Cool.
But those are people that have worked together consistently. I think the Letterkenny crew, they work together. And like for me, like when I run the Burbs, I brought on Paul Sun-Young Lee and Nicole Power from Kim's. I brought them in. So I think it's happening, but not on the level that it's happening with Sandler.
Got it.
Because I think he just hit another level where he can call those shots. He can make that happen. But I think for me, like whenever I do go into a project, I'm actively thinking of like people that I could work with. And it's great because like I just signed on to a movie where the lead is the one who recommended me as her co-star because we did a comedy festival together years ago.
Cool.
So I love that. Or like I just signed on to another movie where it will be the 3rd movie I make with this group of filmmakers. So I think it is happening, but not on the level that it happens with Sandler. Though I wish it would.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's cool.
But that's something like really special because they all broke through together. Like no one in that group is like the one they brought along. They all made it big. Like Chris Rock made it big. David Spade made it big.
Yeah.
Kevin James, the replacement for Chris Farley, made it big.
Yeah.
Right. So Rob Schneider made it big. So like they just get to play in a sandbox together. But I love there's levels to it. I love that there's levels to it. Or the fact that like Chris Rock, in my mind, one of the biggest stand-ups in the world, still sees Sandler as the guy, is the next guy, right?
Coach.
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
I wish, I hope. But I know, like for me, like I felt like I got to do that and run the Burbs. I felt like the team I assembled were genuinely the people that I just loved working with or admired from a distance. Ali Hassan, Chris Locke, Jonathan Langdon, Aurora, like Raki Morzaria, just people I admired from a distance and I wanted to work with. So I think for me, like whenever I go and develop new projects, I'm actively thinking of like, who's the person I can bring into it. And when I do improv shows, I'm always like, ooh, you're really good. I like working with you. Cool. I don't remember your name.
For those who don't know, when you have these projects, who's funding it?
Well, it really depends who's funding it. So like with TV, like you're usually bringing it to like a broadcaster.
Okay.
Like a CBC, a Bell, a Rogers, they're funding it. With films, I don't know who funds it, man. It's like Telefilm, private funding, people, you know, it's like making films in Canada is really tough. But typically with television shows, it's usually like a broadcaster.
Got it.
And so I've been lucky enough to have built great relationships with production companies who then in turn are able to sell it to broadcasters.
How many shows did you have to write before someone accepted Run the Burbs?
Run the Burbs. But like that's a tricky question because Run the Burbs was my second development show. My first show went in development, didn't get made. Run the Burbs was the second one. But great question. I remember I was sitting down with someone years ago and I was talking to I forget his name. Anyways, I was sitting and talking to someone years ago and he had a show called The Detour.
Okay.
And I asked him, he was talking about the show and I was like, oh, cool. How many shows have you had in development before this was made? And he looked at me, he's like, I had 40 shows in development.
Wow.
Before it got made. And I'm like, wow. So you got rejected 39 times and the 40th one got made. Most people would quit after the first rejection.
Crazy.
The second one, okay. The third one, they're out. Fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh, eighth, they're out, right? So for me, I'm very lucky that I had one to go in development, didn't get made, and the second one was. And I try to remember because as I go back in development on new projects, I know it might be a long road on many projects that will never get made. So I'm very aware of it. Yeah. And there's been projects that I've signed on to that didn't get made. Or I've been projects I've signed on to that got made that didn't get made with me. Right. So I'm aware that the road, the career path I'm on is very unstable, you don't know what's going to happen next. So be grateful for the things that you do have. You do get.
What kind of tips would you give to the youngsters who may be facing that rejection? Like, how long should someone, obviously you should hold onto your dream forever, but like at what point, like what kind of motivation could you give them?
So I do this one a lot. Do you love it? Why are you, so it's why are you acting? But it goes for any creative job. Why are you doing it? So for me, I started doing improv when I was 16 and I loved it. And I did it when I was 17 and 18, 19 because I loved it. And when my friends stopped doing it and I was the only one left because I started with a group of friends, when they all stopped doing it and they did other things, I still loved it.
Amazing.
And I kept doing it into my 20s, into my 30s. So I love it. And I loved it when I was producing my own shows and grinding out a career in Calgary. And I love it now being in Toronto. So I loved it on all levels. So some actors, I say, do you love it because of the glitz and glamour? Do you love it because, oh, you want to do some projects, you want to go to awards, you think the money is good? Or do you love it because you love the craft?
Cool.
And so I say, if you love it because you love the craft, then great, you're doing it. Keep doing it. If you don't love it for that reason, I say you need to find your love of it. Not that you need to leave it, but you need to find your love of it. Take a class, join an improv troupe, join a scene study group, write your own project. Find the reason that you love it, because if you love it, the highs and lows are so much easier to navigate. There's one actress, her name is Jess. She's starring in Frasier right now, the reboot, or the continuation.
Yeah.
And Jess will go from shooting in LA to doing a play in like a small town. And I'm like,
cool.
You love it. You love the craft of it, right? You love everything about it. There's another friend of mine, Dakota. She's out in Saskatchewan. She will go from being in a Marvel show to a Canadian sitcom to doing a touring her stand-up show in all the small towns in the prairie provinces because she loves it.
No ego.
You know, right? So like I always say to young performers, do you love it?
Cool.
That's what it comes down to. If you love it, do it.
There you go.
Do it. The success will come, but it doesn't matter because you love it, right? And so I was talking to my son the other day. We were walking and talking, and he asked me, why do you do your job? Because I think I was going through like a really busy time and I was a bit stressed out. And he's like, why do you love your job? And I looked at him like, because I love it. And I hope one day you can find a job that you love no matter what.
That's cool.
And that's the vision. That's the dream. That's all we can hope for. All we can hope for is making our life great for our kids, making them so they're not assholes.
Yeah.
And making it so they find something in life they love. And that they love themselves. Right?
Preach.
So yeah, that's my advice. Yeah.
Have you seen the new Andrew Schultz Netflix special?
No, but I've watched his stuff.
You gotta watch it.
I gotta watch it.
Dad related, the whole thing.
Oh, is he a dad?
He's a dad. He just became a dad not too long ago.
Did it change his stand up?
Dude, I loved it.
Yeah.
He told a story, man. The whole comedy skit was basically telling a story, and it was a different side of comedy that I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. You got to watch it. I think it's called Life on Netflix, number 2 on Netflix right now.
I love, he did a bit recently where I think he brought his dad to like Madison Square Gardens, or he brought his dad.
And he introduced him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also did one where I think he brought his dad to the Toronto show because he's like, one day I want to sell out where the Raptors play. Jimmy Yang did that too, where he brought his dad to the Staples Center. And his dad is like still roasting him. Like, and I love it. I love it. I love that. But it's cool to see, it's cool to see how it changes their comedy because I'm interested now. Because Andrew Schultz as a comedian is pretty like no holds barred.
Yeah.
Nothing is off limits. Nothing is off limits. He roasts you. He roasts every group the same. So it'd be interesting to see what he does. But like I think there's like my hope is that parenthood gives you more insight.
Yeah.
It gives you more insight as a person.
And changes your skits. You can relate on another level to people. It's just awesome. Change up the content.
Yeah. It has for me. Like definitely like I remember like on Run the Burbs and everything I do now, it's like a lot of stuff where I bring that's happened in my life.
Yeah.
And it's cool that because my son's 11. So now he's going in this phase where he's no longer this like he was like this innocent little kid, but now he's like saying like skibbity and Riz. And he's like, what's up, bro? What's up, bro? And I'm like, okay, what is our relationship now? And so I'm always trying to figure out and redefine our relationship. But like it's been nice because I'm like, well, he's not going to be the boy he was when he was 5.
True.
I can't make him be that. He's not that kid
Totally.
anymore. But now we get to watch NBA and like talk about it. We'll be playing NBA 2K and like having discussions about it. We get to do these really fun things now and have discussions about sports and about like Cobra Kai fan theories. That was really big for us.
Cool.
Like going through and talking about what was going to happen next in the season. So it changes your perspective. Our kids are changing. It'll change us. I love that. And as I've said before, we're becoming the best version of ourselves. We're just leveling up as people. It's an iOS update every day.
Preach. I like it.
Yeah.
We're pretty much near the end, but I know you do this or that.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to do a Daddy Day Club edition.
Okay, Daddy Day Club edition, this or that. Okay, let's do this.
We're going to take you back to the 90s here.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels or Triple H?
Shawn Michaels.
Bret Hart or The Undertaker?
Bret Hart.
All right. Edge and Christian or the Hardy Boys?
It's tough. I would have said at my gut, Edge and Christian, but I think the Hardy Boys have longevity, so I'm going to go the Hardy Boys.
All right. Stone Cold or The Rock?
Stone Cold.
All right. DX or NWO?
DX.
Okay.
DX. Oh,
yeah.
I did this the other day.
I did it today.
You did it today?
I did it today.
My wife came in the room and I'm like, man, I was just doing this. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm just like, I don't know. This is just cool right now.
I did the Shawn Michaels thing today to my wife. She's looking at me like an idiot. Like, what is this kid doing?
Well, I for the Elimination Chamber, I was deciding between a Hart Foundation jacket or this leather Shawn Michaels jacket, but it's like his white leather jacket. Every time I put it on, I do the leg pull he does. Yeah, man. There's something so great about the too sweet, the cross chop.
Totally.
Yeah, but yeah, DX.
Walk to Remember or The Notebook?
Can I confess something?
Go.
I've seen neither.
Get out.
I haven't seen either of them. I've seen I love romantic comedies, but that's more romantic than it is comedy. So I never got around to watching.
That
it.
was my high school, man. Watching that and being like, oh my god.
Yeah, but I also because of Walk to Remember, someone spoiled it for me and said that she dies. Spoiler alert.
Fuck.
Right? But like I was like, oh man, she dies. I don't want to get into this. Or someone told me The Notebook was like at the end they're both dead, or like one of them is dead. And it's just them reading The Notebook. And I'm like, oh, they're dead. I don't want this. I've never seen Titanic because
You're
again, I'm
lying.
like, I know what happened in Titanic.
Okay.
I don't want to watch that.
Fair
I can't
enough.
handle
It's
that.
3 hours long. So
2 VHS tapes.
Yeah.
It was 2 VHS tapes.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I bought the Lego set of that Titanic.
Wait, there's a Titanic Lego set?
Yeah, I didn't open it. I'm going to keep it for my daughter in like 20, 30 years.
But is it just the Titanic in its glory or the Titanic with the door?
I'm not sure. It's like 20,000 pieces or something like that. It's wild.
That's what you bought?
I bought it.
I bought a DeLorean for my kid.
And I bought a Home Alone Lego set that's not opened either.
That is the best one.
Crazy.
You got to get the lighting kit for it.
I saw.
There's a lighting and sound kit.
I saw.
And we've done the lighting and sound kit. The lighting and sound kit does it so it like scenes in the movies. It has like the lighting for when the Wet Bandits come in.
Yeah.
It has a scene when he's got the Michael Jordan thing going. It's great.
Cool, eh?
It's great.
Greatest
Yeah.
movie ever.
Yeah.
Scream or I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I love Jennifer Love Hewitt, my high school crush.
Jennifer Love Hewitt, Girl on TV, LFO.
Oh,
Shout out.
LFO.
LFO.
Oh.
It's 2 out of 3 members are deceased. It's very sad.
Yeah.
But Jennifer Love Hewitt, the original J-Lo, Can't Hardly Wait.
With Enrique. I think she
Yeah.
was in.
Hero.
Man,
yeah. I
had a poster of her.
man.
HMV.
Yeah, Enrique, Hero. Yeah, it was great.
That was too good.
You see, you got a poster at HMV.
I had a HMV poster of Jennifer Love Hewitt that stayed on my wall for the longest time, man.
For you.
I love her.
Good for you. Yeah.
Inception or Interstellar?
Inception. I appreciate Interstellar a lot.
Me too.
But Inception, I saw it in the theater and it blew my mind.
Me too.
Yeah.
My favorite movie. Interstellar, I liked it a lot because it had a lot of, it was sad, emotional with the kids and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Billy Madison or Dumb and Dumber?
Billy Madison.
Okay.
Yeah.
How I end the podcast. Ask 2 questions. If you can ask, have anybody perform at your wedding, dead or alive, who would it be?
Perform at my wedding.
Yeah.
I would have perform my wedding. I'd have Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide,
Okay, I like
Pitbull.
it.
I love Pitbull.
Me too. He's good.
And I have an appreciation of Pitbull that only grows. Because I think when Pitbull first came out, he's part of hip hop with Flo Rida, and it's like, okay. But he's only had longevity, and Pitbull is nothing but the hits. And I love how he's always redefined himself.
Yeah.
But I also love that when people go to his concerts, they wear the wigs now,
Yeah.
the bald caps.
Oh, cool.
And he loves it.
Sweet.
And I'm like, this is a man that just knows who he is. And his duet with Bon Jovi, he knows exactly who he is.
Yeah.
So I would have Pitbull perform at my wedding.
Cool.
Yeah.
Last question. If you can have anybody sitting here for the next show, from someone from your circle, who would it be?
Wow, I think I'd say Cardinal Official. We got to get him out.
Okay, that would be a dream.
We got to get Cardi.
If you can,
I don't think it's that hard.
Really?
Here's
Okay.
I love this. When we were writing the first episode, Run the Burbs, we had written Cardinal Official because Cardi, to me, was the pinnacle of what hip hop culture was in this country. And so the idea that he was a suburb dad now was like this big. It was like really comedic, right? But it was the role. We weren't making fun of him. But we were simply saying he was a dad that lived on the street that used to be a rapper.
Cool.
Right? We called him Jason.
Yeah.
That's his name. And so I texted my friend and I was like, yo, you know Cardi. Can you get me a hookup with Cardi? He's like, yeah, let me shoot you guys a text message. So he shot us a text message. I'm like, yo, Cardi, I got this thing. He's like, great, shoot me an email. And literally that's what it was. We shot his management team an email. They read over the script and they said yes. And so it was like a reminder to me of just ask.
Okay.
The worst they can do is say no. So I would say Cardinal Official.
All right.
And I would say this one, it's going to bring you out of your comfort zone. Because you've had entrepreneurs, you've had media personalities, you've had actors, you've had a comedian like me. I think as a comedian, I'm like a pretty like honest comedian. I'm not too wild. My friend Chris Locke.
Okay.
He's a stand-up comedian. He's bonkers.
Let's do it.
He is funny on another, like he is so funny,
Okay.
but he's like bonkers, man. I don't know. Like you'll be sitting there a couple times, be like, I don't know what to do. Chris Locke on this podcast. I think you will have a blast with
Set
Chris
it
Locke.
up. Let's do it,
I'll set
man.
that up. No problem.
Andrew,
Thank
appreciate
brother.
you too.
Thank you, man.
That was amazing, man.
Thank you, man.